to memory something long forgotten, we often find ourselves on the very brink of remembrance. And yet sometimes, long forgotten memories often return without the slightest provocation. Upon hearing these words, I swooned. And yet, all is not lost. Even in the grave, immortality is never lost. Amid frequent endeavors to remember my child, where am I? There have been moments when I've had success, very brief periods when I have conjured up such remembrances.
Why will no one come?
These shadows of memory tell indistinctly of tall figures that lifted me up and bore me away in silence.
What business do I have being here?
Carrying my body down into a dungeon vault. Down, still down.
Where are my friends in my time of need?
After this, I call to mind flatness and dampness, and then, oh, it's madness.
Madness!
Of a memory which busies itself among forgotten things. And then, a rushing revival of soul.
By what rights do you hold me?
And a full memory of the trial, of the judges, of the sentence of the dread Inquisition.
Where there is life, there is hope.
Condemned to perish at the auto de fe, and this had been scheduled on the very night of my trial. Victims had always been in immediate demand.
I'm not dead yet. Let us see where we are. A wall, but forged of heavy iron. But what size? 1, 2, 3.
This process afforded me no means of ascertaining the dimensions of my dungeon. However, in my search,
food, water.
Shortly thereafter, I resumed my tour.
46, 47, 48, 49, 50. Curious, but how far across? My kind fortune's favor with this.
I outstretched my arm and shuddered to find that I had fallen upon the very brink of a pit.
An abyss.
To the victims of the Inquisition's tyranny, there was a choice of death, either with its direst moral agonies or its hideous moral horrors. I had been reserved for the latter. Suffering the agonies of the trial, my nerves had been unstrung.
So, this is to be my torture. The unknown. I fear death has no place at its depths. The room is spinning. Why is my head foggy? Dizzy? I feel the bread.
A deep sleep fell on me. How long it lasted, of course, I know not. But when I unclosed my eyes, the walls of the vault were visible all around me, faced with eyeless skulls and skeletons all about the whole of its border. I was lying down.
I cannot move! Lord, deliver me! What torture is to follow now? Meat! Salty! No water! And the smell!
Bound hand and foot, I looked upward and regarded the painted ceiling far above me.
Hello, death! Why do you carry a clock pendulum instead of your usual sight? Come to tell me of my remaining minutes?
A slight noise attracted my notice. I looked to the floor.
Rats. Enormous rats from the depths of the pit. Am I to be eaten alive?
Suddenly, a mechanical noise sounded from above me.
The pendulum. It's swinging. Descending. Sharp. Saved from the pit to be cleaved by a sharpened blade.
I could no longer doubt the doom prepared for me by monkish ingenuity. inch by inch, line by line, with a descent only appreciable at intervals that seemed ages. Down, still down it came. I wearied heaven with my prayers for its more speedy descent.
For the love of God, draw! Finish me!
Down, certainly down it came. To the right, to the left, far and wide, with the shriek of a damned spirit.
I must stop its swing! Might as well arrest an avalanche!
Down, certainly relentlessly down it came. It vibrated within inches of my bosom.
Ah, stay the course! Cut through my mortal shell and cross my beating heart! Cut through?
There rushed to my mind a half-formed thought of joy, of hope.
The meat! The rats! Will these foul creatures be my saviors?
I struggled for the remaining meat and rubbed it into my bonds wherever I could reach.
Now, I must lie still.
At first, the ravenous animals were terrified, startled at the change, at the cessation of my movement. But that was only for a moment. I had not counted upon their voracity. From the depths of the wells, they hurried into fresh troops.
Pressing.
And leaped in the hundreds upon my person. They busied
throat,
themselves with the anointed
on my
bandages.
chest, on my
I could see the loosening of the bandages, which had been severed in several places.
Just a moment longer, just a moment
I had
longer!
not erred in my calculation, nor had I endured in vain. The ropes parted.
Free! I'm free!
I had no longer rolled from my bed of horrors to the stone floor, when the motion of the hellish machine ceased and I beheld it drawn up.
Oh, bastards! You bastards! You could have stopped at any time!
My every move had undoubtedly been watched. I had escaped death in one form of agony, only to be delivered to death in some other.
Villains! What torture have you in store now? That's 2 deaths denied! I'm still here!
Suddenly, a deep red glow rose from all around me.
Hot. Why is it so hot?
There came to my nostrils a stench of heated iron. A suffocating odor pervaded the prison.
My God, they're heating the walls!
The heat rapidly intensified.
Burned alive! I'll be burned alive!
To the inquisitorial vengeance had been hurried by my twofold escape, and there was to be no more dallying with the King of Terrors. The room had been square.
The walls are moving towards me!
The walls of the vault closed in, shoving me towards its final destination.
Bring me another death! Any death but that of the pit!
I struggled no more and prepared to fall. There was a sound of distant human voices. There was a blast as of many trumpets. There was a harsh ringing as of 1,000 thunders. The fiery wall suddenly cooled.
Voices in my native tongue. An outstretched arm caught my own as I fell fainting towards the abyss.
It was that of a savior, General LaSalle. The French army had entered Toledo. The Inquisition was in the hands of its enemies. Take this kiss upon the brow, and in parting from you now, thus much let me avow. That you are not wrong. You deem that my days have been a dream. Yet if hope has flown away, in a night or in a day, in a vision or in none, is it therefore the less gone? All that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream. I stand amid the roar of a surf-tormented shore, and I hold in my hand grains of the golden sand. How few, yet how they creep from my fingers to the deep while I weep. While I weep, oh God, can I not grasp them with a tighter clasp? Oh God, can I not save one from the pitiless wave? Is all that we see or seem but a dream within a dream? I am.
It's after midnight.
And what day is it?
You've been asleep almost a full day.
Then it is only the 7th. I thought longer.
No, not this time. Your temperature is down. You gave me quite a fright.
They who dream by day are cognizant of many things which escape those who dream only by night. So often these dreams carry me from family and loved ones and even new friends. Sometimes these dreams turn into nightmares. I'm sorry.
Hey, no mind, sir. I've seen far worse in the woods.
I have a history which requires temperance. I wish you had not seen me in such a state.
Again, sir, it is my job to see to your health.
But still, I am sorry. You have been most kind.
A new friend indeed. But what of your old friends, Mr. Poe?
Call me Edgar.
I should think not, sir. Formality with a patient.
I'm more than patient, wouldn't you say?
Mr. Poe.
Quite a patient if one were to label my demeanor, Eliza.
Goodness, you must be feeling better. He could find the devil himself with such wit.
2 wits. And yet I have words only for you.
You double the meaning of your words, making them false.
And if I gave you my singular attention,
Then you will have lost your wit, and why should I suffer the singular attentions of a fool?
I have great faith in fools. My friends call it self-confidence.
Mr. Poe, this is a hospital, not a common brothel.
Cannot men gain their rest in both?
The rest is granted in one, but gained in the other only with the proper coin.
Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, but only when you are able to seize her.
You twist both your words and your meaning, you madman.
I was never really insane except upon occasions when my heart was touched.
Touched indeed. I think I liked you more when you were raving.
You see to my health, both mind and body?
Yes,
Well,
that is my charge.
mind and body are most at ease when we're friends. And my friends call me Edgar.
Perhaps. Mr. Poe, perhaps.
Woman, you are tiresome. I'm tired.
Not to belabor a question, but what of your friends?
What of them?
You spoke of others as your fever rate earlier, Mr. Rufus, I believe?
The Reverend Rufus Griswold. And he is no friend. He and I have a rather long-standing feud.
To what end?
To vilify a great man is the readiest way in which a little man can himself attain greatness. Old Rufus has all the finest qualities a true artist would lack. He is pretentious and dogmatic and vindictive.
Why does he bear you such ill will?
A woman?
Your wife?
No.
Don't be coy now, Mr. Poe. Mind and body. Tell me. I can see your burden wears on you like a heavy coat.
There were others after my wife.
Others,
I do not wish to trouble your condescension further.
as in more than one other.
One above all, most who I've courted since Virginia's death matter little.
I should think it matters to them.
Eliza, my first love was my writing. My work was my passion. No woman, save my wife and one other, had the spark I was searching for, the one I once had.
The artist and his muse. Who was she? After your wife, I mean.
Frances Osgood. I once wrote that she had a rosy future in literature. Fanny was, and is, a poet of excellent reputation in New England.
Reputation indeed.
A good friend. Nothing more. We exchanged letters, some poetry and prose. It was all very harmless. Virginia actually approved of her and encouraged our friendship at the end. She felt that Fanny had a calming and stabilizing influence. They were both very much like you in character and feature. Fanny remains one of the more popular writers of our age.
So what happened?
Well, Fanny and her husband had separated but never divorced. Griswold, an editor in Boston, received word of our friendship through mutual acquaintances. It had angered him that I had questioned his motives and choices of poetry anthology he had published some years ago.
Publicly?
In writing, no less. It had further angered him that I was also corresponding with Fanny, so he made it his business to make our lives difficult. He has not let the matter rest to this day, even though Fanny is again with her husband.
People do love a good scandal.
Yes. But beware the furies of a patient man.
The 1,000 injuries of Fortunado I had borne as I best could. But when he ventured upon insult, I vowed revenge. You, who so well know the nature of my soul, will not suppose, however, that I gave utterance to a threat. At length, I would be avenged. I must not only punish, but punish with impunity. It must be understood that neither by word nor deed had I given Fortunado cause to doubt my goodwill. I continued, as was my wont, to smile in his face, and he did not perceive that my smile now was at the thought of his immolation. He had a weak point, this Fortunado. Though in other regards he was a man to be respected and even feared. He prided himself on his connoisseurship in wine. Few Italians have a true virtuoso spirit. For the most part, their enthusiasm is adopted to suit the time and opportunity to practice imposture upon the British and Austrian millionaires. In painting and gemmary, Fortunato, like his countrymen, was a quack. But in the matter of old wines, he was sincere. In this respect, I did not differ from him materially. I was skillful in the Italian vintages myself, and bought largely whenever I could. It was about dusk, one evening during the supreme madness of the carnival season, that I encountered my friend.
Mind your cold ears and come home quickly.
I will, my love. How do you fare this glorious evening, my friend?
Oh, my dear Fortunato, you are looking mad. Oh, how remarkably well you are looking today. But I have received a pipe of what passes for Amontillado, and I have my doubts.
Oh, Amontillado? A pipe? Impossible. In the middle of the carnival.
I have my doubts, and I was silly enough to pay the full Amontillado price without consulting you in the matter. You were not to be found, and I was fearful of losing a bargain.
Amontillado.
I have my doubts,
Amontillado.
and I must satisfy them.
Amontillado.
As you are engaged, I am on my way to Ludovici. If anyone has a critical turn to see, he will tell me.
Krause cannot tell Amontillado from sherry.
Oh, yes. Some fools will have it that his taste is a match for your own.
Come, let us go.
Whither?
Up to your vaults.
My friend, no, I will not impose upon your good nature. I perceive you have an engagement. Lucrezi.
I have no engagement. Come.
My friend, no. It is not the engagement, but the severe cold with which I perceive you are afflicted. The vaults are insufferably damp. They are encrusted with niter.
Let us go nevertheless. Amontillado! You have been imposed upon! And as for Lucrezi, you cannot distinguish sherry from Amontillado.
Thus speaking, Fortunato possessed himself of my arm, and I suffered him to hurry me to my palazzo. There were no attendants at home. They had absconded to make merry in honor of the time. I had told them that I should not return until morning, and given them explicit orders they were not to stir from the house. These orders were sufficient, I well knew, to ensure their immediate disappearance, one and all, as soon as my back was turned.
Where is this cask of Amontillado?
Below in my vaults. Follow. This way. Be careful, my friend, and find your steps as we descend. This part here is the darkest. Welcome to the catacombs of the Montressor.
The pipe?
It is farther on. But observe the white webwork which gleams from these cavern walls.
Niter?
Niter, how long have you had that cough?
It is nothing.
Come, we will go back. Your health is precious. You are rich, respected, admired, beloved. You are happy, as once I was. You are a man to be missed. For me, it is no matter. We will go back. You will be ill, and I cannot be responsible. Besides, there is no crazy.
No! The cough will not kill me. I will not die of a cough.
True. True. And indeed, I had no intention of alarming you unnecessarily, but you should use all proper caution. Come, a draught of this Madeline will defend us from the damps. Drink.
I drink to the buried that repose around us.
And I to your long life.
My thanks.
What was that again?
You do not comprehend?
Not I.
Then you are not of the Brotherhood.
How?
You are not of
The Masons!
Yes. Yes, I am.
you? A Mason? Impossible.
A Mason?
A sign, a sign.
It is this.
You jest. Let us proceed to the Amontillado.
Be it so.
These vaults are extensive.
The Montressors were a great and numerous family.
I forget your arms.
A huge human foot d'or to feel the shore. The foot crushes a serpent rampant, whose fangs are embedded in the heel.
And the motto?
Nemo me impune lacesat. No one provokes me with impunity.
Good.
The night, see, it increases. It hangs like moss upon the vaults. We are below the river's bed. The drops of moisture trickle among the bones. Come, we will go back ere it is too late. Your cough.
Though the cough is merely nothing. Let us go on. But first, another draught of the medoc. Then let us continue to the Amontillado.
Be it so. Here is the Amontillado. As for
He is an
Lucrezi,
ignoramus.
I followed immediately on his heels. In an instant, he had reached the extremity of the niche, and finding his progress arrested by the rock, he stood stupidly bewildered.
Where is the cask?
A moment more, and I had fettered him to the granite, throwing the links about his waist. It was the work of but a few seconds to secure it. He was too much astounded to resist. Withdrawing the key, I stepped back from the recess.
What is the meaning of this, Montressor?
Pass your hand over the wall. You cannot help feeling the dampness. Indeed, it is very damp. Once more, let me implore you to return. No? Then I must positively leave you. Oh, but I must first render you all the little tensions in my power.
The Amontillado.
True, the Amontillado. As I said these words, I busied myself among the piles of bones. Throwing them aside, I uncovered a quantity of building stone and mortar. Using these materials, I began vigorously to wall up the entrance to the niche. I had scarcely laid the first tier when I discovered that the intoxication of Fortunado had in a great measure worn off.
Oh, God.
It was not the cry of a drunken man. There was then a long and obstinate silence. I laid the second tier and the third, and the fourth.
Let me out!
The exploits continued for several minutes, during which that I might hearken to it with more satisfaction. I ceased my labors and sat down upon the bones. When at last the clanking subsided, I resumed and finished without interruption the fifth, the sixth, and the seventh tier. The wall was now nearly upon a level with my breast.
Help. Help me! Someone! Please! Help me!
For a brief moment I hesitated, but the thought of an instant reassured me.
No, please!
No,
Please
no,
let
please!
me out!
Let me out! Let me out!
What are you
Please,
doing?
please, please. It was now midnight, and my task was drawing to a conclusion. I had completed the 8th, the 9th, and the 10th tiers. There remained but a single stone to be fitted and plastered in. I placed it partially in its destined position. But now, from out the niche, there came a low laugh that erected the hairs on the back of my neck.
Oh, what a good joke! It's an excellent jest! Many are in laugh about it at the Palazzo.
The Amontillado!
Yes, the Amontillado! Oh, but is it not getting late? Will they not be awaiting us at the Palazzo? The Lady Fortunado and the rest? Oh, let us be gone.
Yes, let us be gone.
For the love of God, Montressor!
Yes, for the love of God! I forced the last stone into its position. I plastered it up. For the half a century, no mortal has disturbed them. In pace requiescat. Rest in peace.
You have quite a way with words, Mr. Poe. Revenge never looked quite so good, or so horrid.
Oh, believe me, my dear, there's nothing that old Griswold doesn't justly deserve. His nickname in certain literary circles in New England is the Grand Turk.
Why do people call him that?
I'm not sure. For the harem of female poets he promotes. Probably because he is just as shrewd and twice as mean as any camel trader in Arabia. It is a title he has well earned, well, not just for me, but by many others who have had the unfortunate occasion to cross him.
Well, in my humble opinion, it seems as though you've made an immortal mark upon the man, even if you never knows the stories about him.
It is just as well old Griswold still would not understand. Eliza, I must thank you
For what?
for listening and not just hearing. And by listening, helping heal.
It was a pleasure to have met you. And to hear your stories. I wonder what I would have paid to hear you speak in public.
I'll be sure to send you my bill.
You truly are mad.
Are you all right?
I'm ready to scream.
Well, why look you so pale?
It is just this ill light.
Well, then look at me. Tell me what is wrong.
Nothing.
Then
It is
show
nothing.
me.
No!
Show. Eliza. Consumption. Why? 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 Why, her lord? In your infinite wisdom, why? What did she do which showed me kindness? What have I done that all around me must suffer this plague? Why has this red death haunted me all of my days? Red Death had long devastated the country. No pestilence had ever been so fatal or so hideous. Blood was its avatar and its seal. There were sharp pains, and sudden dizziness, and then profuse bleeding at the pores. The scarlet stains, especially upon the face of the victim with the bane, would shut him out from the aid and from the sympathy of his fellow men. And the whole seizure, progress and termination of the disease were the incidents of half an hour. But the Prince Prospero was happy and dauntless. He had summoned to his presence 1,000 hale and loud-hearted friends from among the knights and dames of his court.
Oh, yes! This will do nicely.
This abbey is an extensive and magnificent structure, well intended for our purposes. It is a project of my eccentric yet august taste. And a strong and lofty wall encircles it with gates of iron.
Is it well provisioned, my lord?
Yes,
And what of entertainment, my lord?
I have provided all the appliances of pleasure.
Well then, sire, there will be buffoons. There will be improvisators. And there will be ballet dancers. There will be musicians.
Pardon, my lord, but...
Of course, my good friend, there will always be one.
I thank God.
And your majesty's hospitality.
Yes, let there be beauty. And in the meantime, it is a folly to grieve or to think. Let us enter and shut the gate against this dread disease. Call for fires, weld the bolts. The external world can care for itself. All this and security is within. Without is the Red Death.
Prince Prospero had entertained his 1,000 guests at a masked ball of the most unusual magnificence, while the pestilence raged most furiously abroad.
Prepare the imperial suite. I'm sure it will please his majesty to have the mask within these rooms.
These rooms are so irregularly disposed that my vision embraces but little more than one at a time.
Well, there's a sharp turn every 20 or 30 yards, and at every turn a narrow Gothic window that looks out over the main corridor.
The visions of the glass windows vary in accordance with the prevailing hue of each chamber.
And in the east is hung in blue.
And vividly blue arts windows.
The second chamber is purple in its ornaments and tapestry. Purple in its panels as well.
The third is green throughout, and so are the casements.
The fourth is furnished in light with orange. The fifth, white. The sixth in violet. And the seventh, shrouded in black velvet tiles.
But in this last apartment, the color of the windows failed to correspond with that of the decorations. The panes here were scarlet, deep blood color. Now, in no one of the 7 apartments was there any lamp or candelabrum, but in the corridors, opposite to each window, stood a heavy tripod of fire that projected its rays through the tinted panes and glaringly illumined each room.
Look here upon the multitude of gaudy and fantastic appearances.
But in the black chamber, the effect of the firelight that streamed through the blood-tinted panes was ghastly in the extreme.
Strange, there seem to be few in the company brave enough to set foot within its precincts at all.
No matter.
In this black apartment, there stood a gigantic clock of ebony. Its pendulum swung to and fro with a dull, heavy, monotonous clang. When the hour was stricken, the musicians of the orchestra were constrained to pause in their performance, to hearken to the sound.
Why has the music stopped?
While the chimes of the clock yet rang, it was observed that even the giddiest grew pale. But when the echoes had fully ceased,
How foolish we all are! Musicians, play on!
the musicians looked at one another and smiled at their folly, and made whispering vows that the next chiming of the clock should produce no similar emotion. But after the lapse of 60 minutes, there was the same silence and disconcert as before. But in spite of these things,
It is a gay and magnificent revel! Oh, yes, there is much that is beautiful.
The Duke's tastes are so peculiar.
Much that is wonderful.
He has an eye for colors and effects.
Much of the bizarre.
His plans are bold and fiery.
Something of the terrible.
His conceptions glow with barbaric luster.
And not a little of that which may incite disgust.
and the revel went on, until at length there commenced the sounding of midnight upon the clock. Now there were 12 strokes to be sounded.
Midnight.
A long meditation and silence fell over the whole of the assembled company. Before the last echoes of the last chime had utterly sunk into silence, there were many in the company that became aware of the presence of a masked figure. And there arose a murmur from the whole company, first of surprise, then of terror, of horror, and of disgust.
The masquerade license of the night is nearly unlimited.
Whoever it be has out-Heroded Herod.
And has gone beyond the bounds of even your Majesty's indefinite decorum.
Who dares?
Tall and gaunt, shrouded in the clothing of the grave.
All of his features are besprinkled with the scarlet horror.
Who dares insult us with this blasphemous mockery?
It is the visage of the Red Death.
Seize him and unmask him so that we may know whom to hang at sunrise from the battlements.
It was in the blue chamber where stood the prince, with a group of pale courtiers by his side. The vast assembly, as if with one impulse, shrank from the centers of the rooms to the walls. The mummer made his way uninterruptedly, but with the same solemn and measured step which had distinguished him from the first. Through the blue chamber to the purple, through the purple to the green to the white, through this again to the orange, and even thence to the violet, and even then into the red.
This, and I will see you dead. Follow me, you cowards. Face me. The lout. Oh, God. My liege! The prince! The prince is fallen!
My liege, are you well?
The prince is dead!
Seize the intruder!
Seize him!
Get him!
Seize him!
Empty.
There is no one at all.
No one but the Red Death.
And now was acknowledged the presence of the Red Death. He had come like a thief in the night, and one by one dropped the revelers in the blood-bedewed halls of their revel, and died each in the despairing posture of his fall. And the life of the ebony clock went out with the last of the company. And the flames of the tripods expired. In darkness, in decay, and the Red Death held illimitable dominion over all. What is this place? This is not the hospital. Strange that I shall find myself alone among the dead. It is possible that I have finally gone mad. I am not raving. There's a familiar feeling here that I cannot disguise. been here before. Yet I do not sense a feeling of loss, but of a new beginning. In a dream within a dream, perhaps. Or a nightmare within a nightmare. Perhaps it is madness that stirs within me. Something almost immortal. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore,
While I nodded, nearly napping,
Suddenly there came a tapping.
As if someone gently rapping at my chamber door.
"'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. Only this and nothing more.
Ah, distinctly I remember. It was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember was its ghost upon the field.
Eagerly I wished the morrow. Vainly I had sought to borrow from my books or see some sorrow
sorrow for the lost Lenore.
for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore, nameless here forevermore.
Then the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain
Thrilled me.
Filled me.
with fantastic terrors never felt before. So that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating.
"'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door, some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. This it is and nothing more.
Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer.
Sir," said I, "oh madam, truly your forgiveness I implore, but the fact is I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door that I scarce was sure I heard you."
Here I opened wide the door.
Darkness there, and nothing more.
Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there,
Wondering, fearing.
Doubting, dreaming,
dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before.
But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token.
And
the only word there spoken was the whispered word.
Lenore,
Lenore.
this I whispered in an echo, murmured back the word Lenore. Merely this and nothing more.
Back into the chamber turning.
All my soul within me burning.
Soon again I heard a tapping, somewhat louder than before.
"Surely," said I, "surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see then what thereat is and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind and nothing more."
Open wide I flung the shutter, when with many a flirt and flutter, in there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore.
Not the least obeisance made he, not a minute stopped or stayed he, but with mien of lord or lady perched above my chamber door.
Perched upon a bust of Pallas just above my chamber door. Perched and sat, and nothing more.
Then this ebony bird beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore.
"Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou," I said, "art sure no craven, ghastly, grim, and ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore. Tell us what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore."
Quoth the raven, "Nevermore."
Much I marvel this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevance bore.
For we cannot help agreeing that no living human being
Ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculptured bust above his chamber door, with such name as
Nevermore. And the raven sitting lonely on that placid bust spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing further than he uttered, not a feather than he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered.
Other friends have flown before, on the morrow he will leave me as my hopes have flown before. Then the bird said,
Nevermore.
Startled at the stillness broken, by reply so aptly spoken.
"Doubtless," said I, "what it utters is its only stock and store. Caught from some unhappy masker, whom unmerciful disaster followed fast and followed faster till his songs one burden bore, till the dirges of his hope that melancholy burden bore of never, nevermore.
But the raven still beguiling all my fancy into smiling, straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird and bust and door.
Then upon the velvet sinking I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy, thinking what this ominous bird of yore, what this grim,
Ungainly.
Ghastly, gaunt,
And ominous bird of yore.
meant in croaking, nevermore.
Listen more, I sat divining, with my head at ease reclining on the cushion's velvet lining with the lamplight gloating o'er. But whose velvet violet lining that the lamplight gloated o'er, she shall press aside, nevermore.
Then methought the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer, swung by seraphim whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor.
Wretch, I cried, thy God hath lent thee, by these angels he hath sent thee respite, and nepenthe thee from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, oh quaff this kind nepenthe, and forget this lost Lenore.
Quoth the raven.
Nevermore.
Prophet, said I, thing of evil? A prophet still if bird or devil, or whether tempter sent, or whether tempest tossed thee here ashore, desolate yet all undaunted, on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted, tell me truly I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me I implore.
Quoth the raven, nevermore.
Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still if bird or devil, by that heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow laden, if within the distant Aiden, shall clasp a sainted maiden whom the angels name Lenore. Clasp a rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore.
Quoth the raven,
Nevermore. Be that word our sign of parting, bird or fiend! I shrieked up, starting, get thee back into the tempest and the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie thy soul has spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out my heart, and take thy form from off my door.
quoth the raven, nevermore. And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on the pallid bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door.
And his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming. And the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor. And my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted.
Nevermore.
You remain to keep me company,
Yes,
Eliza?
yes, and no.
Do my eyes deceive me? Or have you not expect to come to haunt me?
What does your heart tell you, Edgar?
Virginia? It is not possible, Virginia.
Yes, my darling, darling husband. In his eyes, your loving wife.
But how?
A promise is a promise, my love.
I don't understand it.
To be your guardian angel, and I keep my promises.
Am I truly mad?
No, beloved, you are not mad.
How is this not madness?
No, there is no madness, dearest. Merely a change in perception.
And the hospital?
You have been there for several days. You never regained consciousness.
How is this all possible?
Through hope and love, Edgar, they have carried you back to me.
Lord help my poor soul.
With my help, he has. None of what is past is real, just old memories and dreams within dreams. I have come to bring you home. Come, Edgar. Your immortality awaits.